Hey guys! Okay, that was really squeaky. Oh well. So today's video is kind of a how to study, so like some study tips because finals are coming up with a lot of schools. They start in May, June kind of thing. At my school we have a final tomorrow and then we have more finals at the end of June. That's the same with most schools in where I live. But where other people live you might have different, or high schools might be different or something. But anyway, so these are kind of my study tips. These are what I use for studying, which I should probably do more. So first of all, these are kind of obvious. You're going to need pen or pencil. I usually use pencil. Highlighters, and if you're using a pencil then you probably need an eraser. So what I do is I will clean off my desk, set up the subject that I am going to study, and then put all of my pens, pencils, highlighters, erasers, anything else that I'm going to need, like a calculator for math or something, and put those beside what I'm studying in case I need it. I have something in my eye. Wow. Okay, so then I always have blank paper. Not this exact book, because this book has just, little how-tos and all of that stuff, and some classes that I wanted to take, some acting classes. What else do I have in here? I also have a shopping list. So anyways, yeah, so you're going to need blank paper. This piece is just blank, just so you can kind of write on it. And this is what I'm going to use for studying for finals, but other people might just use like their notes or something. I'm actually using the keys. This is Math 9. This is the math one. And if you just sort of like look through, here, I'll just go to this page. Yeah, this is a practice test for one of the subjects. It just has that, and it's just got that. And it's just a bunch of questions the stuff that you should have learned in grade 9. These, I don't know if they have them for any other grade, but I know for grade 9 that they have the keys, but that's because it's from like the education board or something. And so they just put together a key of all the stuff. Ooh, there's a colorful page. Key of all the stuff that you're going to need to know. Where did that page go? Because if you were watching, then you saw a colorful page go by, right? Ah. It's just some little things. So I got the math, science, and social. And if you look at the difference in sizes, science, which is this first one, is the biggest. And then math, I think, yeah, math, which is this one, is the second biggest. And then social is the smallest. Because we did a lot in social, but not as much. Like science was a really big year. Okay, so then with the whole, taking notes. Oh wow, there's people walking outside. There's never people walking outside. So taking notes. So let's say there was a math formula. No, I'm not going to do math because I fail at math. Science. We'll put biological diversity. So I'd write that at the top. Diversity. Then usually I would go part 1. And I'd write that along the top. It's really messy, but oh well. And then I would write down any notes that are important. And then I would take a highlighter. Everything just dropped. So then I would take a highlighter. I'm going to use my yellow one because I dropped my orange one. And I would highlight all the key points of key points. That didn't make any sense at all, but oh well. And there was another thing that I just dropped. And then, so I have these little like post-it things, which I don't have them right now because I kind of dropped it, that you would use to like bookmark a page of something that you don't understand at all. Then you would bookmark it, bring it into your teacher, and ask them about it. Even though you should have already asked them about it while you were learning about it, some people don't do that. So then, number 2. So that's kind of just how you should study when you're actually studying. But so now I think is tip number 2, because tip number 1 was everything that you need, and then the note taking. And also, if you get like the keys or you have like your own little note package, don't be afraid to highlight. And if you were writing notes, rewrite any notes that were important, because then they just kind of stick in your brain a bit better. So now number 2, tracking how much you've studied. This is just for finals. This isn't including like unit tests or quizzes or anything. For those, you just kind of study for a few days beforehand and just go over all the material and everything. And usually teachers will give you kind of a study guide, but not always. So anyways, tip number 2 for this, just studying for finals. So tip number 2 is you need some way to kind of track how much you've studied for each subject. Especially, like, this is a good habit to get into, especially if you're in grade 9, you're going into high school. And I'm going to a self-directed learning school, so I need to get used to tracking what I'm doing and what I should be doing. So on my whiteboard, which if you watch my videos where I'm sitting over there, then you'll see the whiteboard behind me. And I use my calendar, which is right there. So on my calendar, I wrote down all the dates of my finals, and then I went onto a piece of paper and I wrote down the dates of all the weeks, and then I wrote down how many hours each day I have to study, like that day. And then on my whiteboard, I have a little section, it says study schedule, and then it has subject and hours studied, which I should probably add another one for total hours studied for each subject. And then right now they're all at 0 because I haven't studied at all, but I should probably start doing that. And then I'll just be taking like a whiteboard marker, like this little green one, and I'll erase the 0. All these things stink. And then I'll write on the board 2 hours if I studied for 2 hours, or however long I studied. Yeah, so you want to keep track of how long you've studied. So now, tip number 3. On top of keeping track of how long you've studied, you should also keep track of what you need to study. So let's say, I'm going to pick these up. I'm going to use social and math. So social, math. So let's say for social, you did really, 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 really good in social that day. And, like, not that day, that year. Like, all year you did really good in social, and you understood it all, you got really good marks on your tests, but math, like me, you didn't do all that great in. And there were certain things that you didn't understand at all, and there were certain things that you understood like that. So what you want to do is you want to take the subjects that you understood and maybe study a little bit less, and study for the subjects that you didn't understand as well, like math, for instance. So what some people do is they go, Mondays I'm going to study 2 hours and I'm going to study social. Tuesdays I'm going to study 2 hours and I'm going to study math. Wednesdays I'm going to study 2 hours and study science. Thursdays I'm going to study 2 hours and study LA. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is going to be my break days. You don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to say, this day I am studying this subject for this amount of time. What you want to do is you want to figure out how long you can study for. So what I usually do is I will set a stopwatch, one of those like lap watches, and I will study. And then as the second that my mind starts to wander, I will hit stop, which it used to be in the first like 5 minutes of studying. Not even, it would be like the first minute of studying. But now I've gotten better and I'm up at like 15 minutes and then I can study just straight. And then usually I need about 10 minutes of doing something else, like dancing or reading or talking to my parents or watching TV, to refocus a little bit. So what I do is I study for 15 minutes and I will time myself for exactly 15 minutes. And then I will time myself for another 10 to 15-ish minutes, usually about 10. And I will go and do something else for 10 minutes. And then I will come back to studying for another 15 minutes and I do that for an hour-ish. So, yeah. Because then at 25 minutes I start studying again till 40 minutes and then to the next. And then after 40 minutes, then I go and I walk around for about 15 minutes, and that leaves me to about 55 minutes. Then I study for another 15 minutes, and then I'm done for the night. So it's just over a little bit of an hour. And I try to study for just over an hour every night, even though some nights I can't, like, at all, because I get really, really busy or something. Like tonight, it's going to be a bit harder for me to study for an hour. Tip number 4, I think it is? 3 or 4. I think it's number 4. You have to figure out what time you study best. So if you study best in the morning, then if you go to a school and they let you go in early in the morning, then maybe get ready, like wake up really early, get ready, grab all your studying stuff and go to school and study, or you can study at home and just study in the morning. If you work best during the day, then maybe stay later after school and study at school, or go home and study like right when you get home after school, so you have the rest of the evening to yourself. Or if you study better at night, then come home, take a little bit of a break from school, go back and do your studying for about an hour, and then you're done your studying. I find that I can focus better if it's right after school because then my mind hasn't wandered with a bunch of other stuff. Or I study really good like late at night. So pretty much any time from the end of school till I go to bed is when I'm really good at studying. That's just me though, and then I study for about an hour. Well, I try to. I've tried, and I was successfully studying for an hour a night for about 3 weeks last year, and then I stopped because I got busy one night, and it just kind of didn't work out. But this year for finals, because I think finals are in like 3 weeks for me, 3 or 4 weeks, not even. So I need to seriously start studying, especially science and math. Social, I'm feeling pretty confident in, but science and math, not so much. So anyways, and then my last tip is when you've mastered something like math, here I'm going to choose a random page. No, I'm doing good in that. We're going to do surface area. So once you have figured out surface area, like 126%, and you've mastered it, then treat yourself to a smoothie or something, like just actually treat yourself. Or if you're like me and you want to save as much money as you can, which I don't really have anything in here right now. I have my debit card. I have a little key to my makeup case, and then I have some dimes and nickels. So every time that you studied for, let's say, an hour, if you have change or something in a jar like this, this is just a little vacation money jar, and it's green, and it's got this little cork top. Then take any change that you have in there, and take like $5 out, and go and buy yourself something. And don't, when you're studying and you're trying to focus, don't text. Like, sorry, I keep adding on tips. So treat yourself, obviously, and then turn off anything that will distract you. If you focus better with music on, then let it play. But if you know that your mind's going to wander if you're listening to music, then don't let it play. Just have like a stopwatch or something beside you so you know how long you're studying for. And I'm like talking really, really fast right now, but that is okay. I will slow it down. Or like if your phone is on and you know some of your friends are just gonna be texting you and texting you and texting you, then turn it off. Like seriously, it's okay to turn your phone off for an hour at night and study for that hour, because finals I know are creeping up for a lot of people, and some people are getting seriously stressed, and some people don't even care, and then it gets closer to finals, like a couple weeks, like it is for me right now, and I know I should really start studying, and it's just not good. But like, I'm sorry, I had a hair there. People need to start studying, especially if their finals are like next month. Anyways, I'm just gonna ramble for a second here because I started something at the beginning of the thing and I didn't really end it. So I'm going to self-directed learning school next year, and sorry, I just got distracted from people out there. See, I have like ADD or something because I cannot stay distracted. I mean, I cannot stay focused. So that means that I have to have a schedule of what I'm doing, and that includes studying and everything, and then my TA needs to know. And I met my TA tonight. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I absolutely love my TA. He's the gym teacher at my school, and he's just amazing. He reminds me so much of my current gym teacher, so that's perfect. We're going to get along like, we're going to be two peas in a pod. We're going to be tight. Anyways, I think this video has gone on long enough, and if you guys have any other study tips, put them in the comments below, or if you have any other questions about studying, let me know, and I will hopefully talk to you guys soon.